Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 45, which is the gate of the king or the queen. Okay, so the sun is in gate 45. It started today, June 7th in the evening, and it'll run until June 13th around midday GMT. And we've got the earth in gate 26, which is integrity. So the sun is in the gate 45, which comes directly off the throat center. And we've got the 26 coming off the will center, and that's the gate of integrity. And so the 45 is the king and the queen, and the 26 is about integrity. So it's kind of a nice match the way they come together, and it's something that people would have in their charts either through the sun and the earth, or either conscious or unconscious. They also might have it in the nodes because they always play together in the nodes as well. So a number of people would have this in their chart. So take a look, and if you see it in your chart, then pay more attention. But the 45 is definitely in the sun this week, and all week we're going to have these three centers defined. We're going to have the ajna defined and the throat as usual for the 43-23, but then we're also going to have the 45-21 defined, which will define the will center. And that 21 is the gate of the treasurer. The king and the queen is the 45. The 21 is the treasurer, kind of makes the kingdom, right? It all comes together. But we also call it the channel of the money line, because it's very much about finding a way to make the money and then keeping it, the treasurer, right? Keeping hold and control of the money, because the 21 is also about control. And so what this definition gives us this week, or, from Tuesday through the 13th, is this feeling of being manifestors. We'll have the throat defined and the will center defined. That makes anybody a manifester. And so everyone is going to feel as if they have a little more energy this week. It is paired with this gate 26, which is the gate of integrity. So hopefully the integrity will follow with that. But we'll talk more about how these play out. But the 21 is down in the in Mars, and it just started. And then the 26 is up in the Earth. So that's why they come together. The 45 is in the sun, and the 21 is in Mars, and that's why they come together this week. So you might be feeling having a little more energy, or at least a little more voice to say what's on your mind. So as I said, the 45 is called the gate of the king or the queen. We also call it gathering together, because the whole idea is to create this community or kingdom, if you will, of with the king or the queen running it, and kind of creating this hierarchy so that people can all flourish, right? So that they really thrive. It's a very beneficent kind of king or queen. It's somebody with a good heart, somebody who wants to take care of their people. It's a real coming together of this community. Just because they're at the top doesn't mean they're, bad or powerful in a bad way or abusive. What it means is that they're trying to bring people together. So it's the natural and generally beneficial attraction of life forces. So it's the people who want to come together as a community, right? It's not the, it's people who want to be there, like-minded, let's say like-minded people who want to be in a specific area or in a specific group or a specific organization or a specific company. It's anything like that. In IHDS, the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of rulership, possession, and confrontation. And in the gate 26, which is in the earth, we've got integrity. I call it integrity. Some people call it other things. Colloquially, we call it the snake oil salesman or manipulation. It can go a few different ways or it can be called the egoist too. So they call it the taming power of the great, or the egoist in the original I Ching, because usually it is connected. Well, it is always connected to the will center. And so it can be someone who's got a big ego, especially if that will center is defined. So here the definition is the maximization of the power of memory applied to the nurturing of continuity. So what this is saying in a very circuitous way is that it's somebody who has, and this is part of the business circuit. So it's integrity basically in a business sense. So what they're talking about is maximizing your power by having experience in this energy, which is about closing the sale, right? It's about educating people, letting them know what's available, and then asking them for the sale. So it's not particularly about making the sale, it's making the sale with integrity. It's helping people to move along, nurturing the continuity by helping people to know what's available, educating them about that, and then asking if they want to buy it. And literally, it's an open question. And so it's not about forcing them. It can be about manipulation, but only manipulation in terms of the way you describe the product or service, right? It's not about making them sign. It's about coercing them in a way that's not truthful. And so, like any other gate, the gate of integrity can go from one end to the other. It can be the snake oil salesman. It can be all about manipulation. In the middle, it's kind of about telling white lies, right? Things that don't necessarily hurt people, but it's not necessarily the truth either. And then all the way to integrity. And these are sometimes the most truthful people are the ones with this gate of integrity, because it's really hard for them to tell a lie. It's almost like they do not have a poker face, right? Those, you know, some people like that. I happen to have the gate of integrity in my chart, and it's that I can never play cards. It just doesn't work. So it's the, you know, it kind of goes from one end of the spectrum to the other, but we call it the gate of integrity. In the Gene Keys, pride is the shadow, artfulness is the gift, and invisibility is the CD. The pride comes when the people who are who have the integrity are a little bit more egotistical, and will show it. It'll show up as pride. Artfulness is where it's where you're educating people about the sale, as I said, and you're really helping them along to get the services and products that they need. In the Gene Key 45, the shadow is dominance, the gift is synergy, and the CD is community. And communion. And on the repressive side of the shadow, we've got timid, and on the reactive side, we've got pompous. So everybody knows somebody who's kind of a pompous king or queen, right? That's the shadow side. And that's the dominant side. That's where the dominance comes out as somebody who wants to be in charge, but isn't necessarily the person who is the most beneficent, right? Then they may not have the goodwill or making, you know, helping others in the community to have a good outcome. So on the graphic, Richard, it's more efficient to move together in synergy rather than waste energy in competition. And that's what this gift of synergy is all about. It's much better if we don't have the competition. As you can imagine, the shadow side here is all fear-based. And so it's fear-based dominance of a community or organization or not-for-profit or, you know, anything that you're involved in. You know, we don't have kingdoms anymore, at least not in this part of the world. And so I was just thinking it might be funny to see if Queen Elizabeth, I can't remember if she has the gate of the Queen or not, but it might be interesting to see after that very, you know, interesting jubilee that she had over the past weekend to celebrate 70 years of being the Queen. So he also says that ultimately any system that has been built on a foundation of fear will by its very nature crumble. So ultimately, all of our systems that were based in fear in the past are going to crumble. It's a given. It's going to happen. And you can see the beginnings and sometimes the actual occurrence of some of these institutions crumbling. Things that were based in fear in the past are just not going to survive in the new era, in the new way that we're moving into. And so they're what Richard Rudd is saying is that we're moving from a hierarchy to heterarchy, where instead of it just being you know, in a line, here's the authority chain and here's the hierarchy that everyone has to adhere to. It's going to be more of an even plane, right? Where there might be one person who's in charge by title, but they're working with everybody, and they're bringing everyone together to come up with solutions that work. And so it's much more of a heterarchy, as he calls it. And so that it allows just for more empowerment as opposed to dominance. And so that would be the synergy, the gift of synergy. It's a good thing. And this gift of synergy is also the fractal energy of goodwill that has the real power, not profitability itself. And so what he's saying here is that whereas, everything's based on money and wealth in our current state, we'll be based more on empowerment and working together as communities and having that goodwill, as opposed to purely profit driven. It'll still be profiting. They will profit as a result of the goodwill, is what he's saying, as opposed to profiting as a result of fear or fear-based services and fear-based dominance. So for the personalities born in the Sun Gate 45, which are the crosses of rulership, possession, and confrontation, we've got everybody from Barbara Bush and George H.W. Bush, who were married. There were a couple. So their birthdays were quite close together. I don't think they were the same day, but they were close together. Jacques Cousteau, Johnny Depp, who we'll be taking a look at in a second, Ye West, F. Lee Bailey, Michael J. Fox, Frank Lloyd Wright, and Anne Frank, Judy Garland, Michael McDowell, the Olsen twins. So a lot of people who became quite renowned in their field and who were able to have this persona, because that's all it is, as the king or the queen. It's really a persona. They are people who command respect. They walk into a room and people tend to respect them. That's just this gate 45. That's the way it plays out. And as you can imagine, walking into the courtroom over the past few months, I guess, Johnny Depp was walking in as someone who was feeling dominant, who was kind of playing out the right angle cross of rulership. So I thought it might be interesting to take a look at his chart. I did not watch any of the trial. I am probably one of the few people in the world who didn't, but I didn't watch any of the trial. I saw one clip one day, and that was enough for me. So he was born on June 9th in 1963. So he's just about to turn 59 years old. So he's just about to turn 60. He's had a long career. He was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, which was a surprise to me. I didn't realize that. He's a manifester as his energy type with the 2-4 profile. And as I mentioned, he's the right angle cross of rulership. He's known as an actor, producer, musician, and is most famously known, I guess, as the lead actor in the Pirates of the Caribbean series of movies and a number of other movies, many movies, in fact. Amber Heard was his second wife, and he has 2 children. So looking at his chart, what we've got is somebody with an open head and ajna, and then he's got that defined throat, which is connected to, as we just saw, the money line, connected to the will center via the money line. And he also has this 1-8 channel, which is all about making a creative contribution to the world. So he walks in as a king. He's here to make a creative contribution to the world. And with his will center, he's able to get a lot done. He does have the defined G, open sacral, which does make him a manifester, and the open spleen, completely open, which can go both ways. It can make him quite fearful. It can make him, if he's living in the shadow, it can make him fearful. On the other hand, if he's living out his destiny, if he's living out his incarnation cross and living his life's purpose, it can make him actually fearless. And so I don't know enough about the trial, but I did see him just on news clips walking in a few times, and he did command, he was a commanding presence as he walked into the courtroom, and he did have an air of, I'm going to win this thing. And with the gate 26 on his side, it can go either way in terms of what he was saying. And as I said, I don't know enough about the trial to know what he was saying, but I'll leave it to you to wonder or to figure out whether it was manipulative or completely in integrity. He is got the solar plexus defined, and it's interesting because he has this, off the sacral, all he has is the gate 59, which is the gate of sexuality and intimacy, and he has this 3 times in his chart. So he's got it in Uranus, which is the gate of unusual expressions of the various gates, and he's also got it up here in Mercury, Mars, Venus. Yeah, so he's got it in Venus. So he was looking for somebody who was sexually and intimately attractive to him. In his moon, he's got the gate 38, which is the gate of the fighter, or knowing what's worth fighting for. So I thought that was interesting. And the 46 is all about, which is also a motivating factor, is all about determination and persistence. And I would say he had that too. So, and he's got the root defined. He's got this 19 to 49 channel, which is all about, it's the 19 is about sensitivity. So he was rather sensitive in the way he acted, perhaps. He also has that 1-8, which I mentioned. That's also a very hard to take criticism. It's a channel about making it hard to take criticism. He takes any criticism to heart because he feels like it's actually affecting his identity. And that's the way people would generally respond with that. If they're acting from the not self, right? If they're acting from now an adult, a mature adult who's, relatively self-aware would not be taking these things personally. They would, let them roll off. He's certainly been in the public eye for a long enough time that you would think he would let it roll off his back. And he didn't. So he was, to a certain extent, taking it personally. And so we have this 19, which is the gate of sensitivity, and then the 49, which is the gate of principles. And so I suspect that on principle, he was moving forward with the divorce, with the court case, with a number of things. He also has the 22, which is the gate of charm and grace, which I'm sure he's, relatively famous for. And then the 36 is the gate of drama and crisis. So he doesn't back away usually. It can be about boredom if there's not enough drama going on. And so again, some people give this up later in life. Some people still act it out. This is a tribal energy, so it's not very much of a wave. It's a relatively mild wave because it is in the tribal circuit. And then he's got the gate 13, which is the gate of the listener, 31, the gate of influence, 56, the gate of the storyteller. And this was interesting because the 47 is the gate of, can be the epiphany or also the mindset. And so if the mindset is positive, then you're usually in a pretty good mood and taking things positively, but it can go negative and pessimistic. And perhaps that was part of what he was dealing with. So that's Johnny Depp. Again, I only know him as an actor. I don't know much about the trial, but I'll leave it to you. And if you have any thoughts about it or questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much. Have a great week. And, see how you're feeling this week with regard to being the king or the queen of your kingdom, and see how that, if it makes you, if it helps you to feel any differently, if it helps you to say things differently, or if you feel like that manifester energy is starting to come through. So have a great week. Look forward to talking with you next time. Be well.